You have seen the title of the video, and you might be curious what the current answer to that question. I think right now, Wuthering Waves is not a Genshin Killer yet. As long Hoyoverse doesn't mess up with Genshin development and Kuro really stepping it up with their game. But I think Wuthering Waves has what it takes to become a strong rival for Genshin. Tower of Fantasy tried to do that, but I think they tried too hard to be another Genshin. Wuthering Waves is one of the better open world games that has come out recently, thanks to its impressively fun and loose team-based combat, which me personally and I think a lot of people actually enjoy way more than Genshin combat. That alone differentiates Wuthering Waves from Genshin, and it gives a massive advantage for Wuthering Waves to compete with Genshin as long as they keep honing this specific gameplay element. Additionally, world exploration feels so much better than Genshin thanks to its fluid movement and the ecosystem as incentives to fight the mobs in the open world. However, these alone are not enough to attract many casual players to actively playing this game. There are still things that gives Genshin the upper hand when it comes to open world gacha games, and Wuthering Waves needs to address all of this element in order for it to be able to keep attracting new potential users, and maybe even steal some from Genshin. So for this video, I'm going to talk about 5 things that Genshin still has a massive advantage over Wuthering Waves. This is KKaceh, and please allow me to do a little bit of yapping regarding the future of Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact. By the way, if you do end up liking whatever you're going to hear, do leave a like so more people will be able to join this discussion. And if you're new around here, do subscribe to get more video game content, as I make discussion video very often, especially gacha games related. Alright, enough with the intro, let's just get to those 5 main points that I want to discuss today. Number 1. When it comes to gacha games, the first thing that will catch the attention of the casual players would be character designs. I think most people can agree that Genshin character design has become a standard in the eyes of mainstream users when it comes to gacha game character design. Wuthering Waves, be it intentional or a byproduct, they end up with a very refreshing character design that differs from the Hoyoverse formula of using vibrant color to make a more lively world and playable characters that stands out from the NPCs. As of now, there are quite a big chunk of users that don't like Wuthering Waves character design, which could stem for many reasons, like the usage of black and white on all characters, which kinda makes it look like they using a very limited color options, clunky placement of character ornaments, like female Rover's bow on her head, or Yang busy head. These are reasonable arguments, but I personally think that it's not quite a big detriment for the game. But some might be influenced by a strong bias towards other games, especially Genshin, and they're expecting all gacha games should follow Hoyoverse formula, and if they don't, they are bad. I'm going to discuss this particular topic in depth in another video, since I'm really intrigued to make this a case study, and I would love to see people's take and opinion about this particular topic on what makes a good character design for gacha games, honestly. But yeah, in order for Wuthering Waves to be able to compete with Genshin when it comes to character design, currently with their art direction, it doesn't appeal to a massive amount of audience. So they might want to come up with some really interesting character while trying to retain their design philosophy and their art direction. Since if they decide to move away from their current art direction, they might lose my interest. And the second point is that story is a very important element in order to retain the player base, especially when it comes to gacha games that has a very long story. And this is especially true for the opening of the game, at which it determines the make or break for majority of the casual player base when it comes to gacha games. If it's engaging, they might stay, and if it's too boring and too much telling not showing, they might just lose interest and never come back to the game. Genshin is able to captivate many audience due to its lightweight introduction into the game without using too much in-game glossary and introducing captivating characters such as Amber, Kaya, Venti, Jean, and Lisa. These characters are very distinct, and characters that you meet for the first time will linger on players' mind forever. So first impression matters a lot here. On the other hand, Wuthering Waves use too much in-game jargon and mandatory lore dump at the beginning, which I think can be expanded a little bit further later, just like Honkai Star Rail, or even dedicated them to a side quest, or using more visuals to enhance the lore information, either by using more dynamic cutscenes instead of a very long dialogue, or using CG image like how Honkai Star Rail likes doing when they're showing places that are not available with their game assets. Also, for characters that we met for the first time, they introduced characters that shares two similar design elements to each other. If you choose female rover, Yang Yang and Baiji also share similar face and hair color to the female protagonist. For new players, they would have a difficult time trying to tell who is who, especially non-Chinese players that cannot remember Chinese name that easily. And also, the gender balance is a bit off during the opening, since if you choose female rover, there will be 4 females in the opening cutscenes. And if you choose male, there's only 1 dude and 3 females. It feels rather off. If it was up to me, I probably would swap Baiji with a male character to create a more balanced team dynamic. If you're going to swap someone that has similar role to Baiji, Mortefi probably would be a good choice since they share a similar job if the developers don't want to create a new character for it. So if the swap actually occur, if you choose male rover, it will be 2 males and 2 females. And if you choose female rover, you will have 3 females and 1 male. Plus, should Mortefi swap with Baiji, he will join a bit later towards the opening, so it doesn't disrupt the dynamics as much. At the moment, the solution that the developers have given when it comes to a very slow beginning is by adding skip function to all cutscenes, but that really doesn't address the issue on how the story is presented, and people that skip the initial cutscenes might lose some lore and world building. Oh, and also not to mention, the way story is told in Genshin has been captivating the users since Sumeru, so players are dying to see what's next, even though the stories prior to that is just okay. So basically, due to the high industry standard, Kuro really needs to do some homework and step up their game when it comes to the story until they manage to grab a good size of loyal player base. And the third point would be voice acting. For what I've heard, Wuthering Waves' English voice is either a hit or a miss. Voice acting is very important in video games as that will help the users to be more immersed with the story and appreciate the characters more. When it comes to voice acting, it is not always the problem of voice actors. Sometimes the voice director is more important than the voice actors because they need to make sure that they're able to project what the characters should sound like to the voice actors. I don't know Genshin in English, so I don't know much about it. But I heard Genshin has always been great with their voice directing as far as I know. But I do know that Honkai Star Rail English voice acting is impeccable, since I've heard some of it. So, the voice director for Wuthering Waves needs to make sure the voice delivery in English must be good at all times, and also casting the right person for the right characters. For me, I play in Japanese, and Japanese voice has always been good for both Genshin and Wuthering Waves so far. So as of now, they need to pay attention more to the English side to make sure that they're able to be appealing to gamers who likes English voice better. And the fourth point will be music. Genshin music, undeniably one of the best, if not the best, within the gacha gaming field. Music in Genshin carries so much emotion, be it during exploration, stories, or battles. Wuthering Waves music is decent. I really like their main title music, for example, but the rest is still not there yet compared to Genshin music. I don't know if Kuro doesn't have as much budget allocated into the music, but should their first few updates of the game generally produce a good amount of revenue, I really think Kuro should allocate some more budget into the music production. And the fifth point would be game reputation and experience. Hoyoverse has been building up their reputation by continuously providing good quality of content, especially starting with Honkai Impact, that allows the developers to gain a lot of experience. especially when trying to figure out what the users want to see. Now Genshin is over 3 years old and has built a solid reputation as a game with a really high standard that continuously pleases a good chunk of its fanbase. Not all, mind you. So for Wuthering Waves that doesn't have the smoothest start due to the bugs and not fully optimized game, gaining that good reputation will be hard for them unless they continuously improving the game, market them right, and also those who really enjoy the game, especially content creators, needs to continuously trying to convince others to try and come back to this game again once all the problems are solved. But also, credit must be given to Kuro developers, since they're actively working to fix the problem as soon as possible. They're also actively communicating with the player base through social media, while also providing a good amount of compensation and hoping that players would be a bit more patient with the developers and willing to keep playing the game as they're actively trying to solve all of the problems. And now, let me give you an extra point that I want to talk. If Wuthering Waves wants to kill Genshin, Genshin has a slight loyal fan base that will defend them with all of their might. I'm not trying to badmouth anyone, but currently that is the reality. Such people exist. They will defend any flaws that Genshin has and start attacking other games that might become a threat for the game. With most recent case of Genshin Could Never, thanks to Star Rail continuously pleasing their fanbase, while Genshin seems like trolling their fanbase, and this causing a slight decline on the fanbase due to the variety of content over the years. There's no denying that Genshin devs really need to step up their game if they want to keep up with times, and yet there's still people defending Genshin where they should have also request some improvements for the game. Thank God, the devs start to listen a bit, maybe due to Honkai Star Rail and now Wuthering Waves, as we're getting some nice improvement for version 4.7. Wuthering Waves needs to continuously giving a good result, otherwise these kind of people might take that as an opportunity to take down Wuthering Waves by influencing others, and that won't be good for the future of the game. That's all I want to say. With that all being said, if Kuro managed to address all the issues above, I think Wuthering Waves will become a good rival to Genshin. But I don't think they won't be a Genshin killer as long as Genshin doesn't mess it up and lose the user's trust. So if the worst case scenario never happened, maybe it is impossible for any game to become a Genshin killer, and there's only going to be a Genshin rival. But if we're going to see the positive things that comes out of this situation, these two will always compete, and through competition, there's going to be more innovation in open world gacha games, which is a good thing for the gaming industry, and also good for the gamers. That's all of the point that I want to raise. What else do you think Wuthering Waves needs to work on in order to slowly reaching the same height that Genshin currently enjoys? Let me know about your thoughts and the things that you want to add into this discussion. This is just my personal opinion once again that I have made through observations, and I haven't heard anyone talk about it as much lately. And people are talking more about character designs, which once again, I'm planning to make a discussion video that revolves around it. So stay tuned for that as well. But oh man, I have so many videos I want to make. Anyway, till the next video, stay sharp gamers.
Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe!